good morning. It's Sunday, a little bit frosty, and something popped into my mind that I thought is worth considering. So I was at a Bible study with some wonderful folks, a place that I'd been to before. Just an amazing pastor and group of folks. But they were doing a Bible study on faith, if memory serves, and the topic of the offering Cain had made came up. And this is before his murder of Abel, that led to that. And one person had mentioned that he thought, or had been taught, that he made an offering of straw. Another person said they thought that the offering had been rotten fruit. And these folks had to have been taught that somewhere. So I wanted to point out that nowhere in Scripture does it actually say what Cain offered. And that both of those offerings reinforce our human perspective of placing a worldly value on things. The fact of the matter is, Cain may well have made an offering that was worth far more than Abel's from a worldly perspective, but with the wrong heart. And we see this evidenced at the point where Christ himself took a teaching moment for the apostles when they discussed the widow at the tabernacle, when she gave 2 copper coins, which was all she had. And her offering Christ accepted, whereas the far more expensive offerings of herbs and spices that the scribes and the Pharisees had offered was not accepted. So those folks had to be taught something, and they were probably taught that by the folks I mentioned anyway, had probably taught that by somebody that, with the best of intentions, a preacher or teacher that was trying to make a point somewhere. I just wanted to remind you that we, in fact, don't know what his offering was. And to consider that the two options, one, the first, reinforces a worldly view and value, and the second reinforces what's on the heart. And in the final days, we're going to be judged by the heart. Scripture tells us this, not by any worldly works that we do. The works, of course, are going to present themselves through faith, but we have to get in the mindset, and it's tough. I have a dickens of a time myself trying to teach myself to look with a heavenly perspective and to consider myself a temporary sojourner here on earth. And it's tough, I get it. Just be reminded, don't add to Scripture, don't take away from Scripture. When we do, we might miss a deeper point, because from a worldly perspective, anything we do is eventually going to burn up here, we're told, on the last day. And on the last day, we will be judged by what's on our heart. So just consider the possibility that Cain may well have made an offering that was far more valuable from a worldly perspective than his brother. And who knows, maybe that's why he had gotten so angry, angry enough even to kill his brother. Fact is, we don't know. One possibility reinforces a worldly view. The other possibility reinforces a more heavenly view. So it's important to look at both possibilities. It's important to identify what we do and what we don't know. And we should never add to Scripture, neither should we take away from it. Both of those are very bad. Anyway, love God, love your neighbor, love y'all.